let's get to our special guest. Let's bring her on. The one, the only, Drea de Matteo.
Hi.
Hi, Drea. How are you?
Am I here? Am I in here?
You are in here. What's up?
Hello. To you, Shane calling.
That's amazing.
This is all over my fucking house right now.
You're getting ready for Halloween, huh? A party?
It's a massive party. It's massive. It's psychotic. It's haunted. It's fucking... There's going to be so many ghosts here. You have no idea.
Real?
It's seance time.
Real ghosts, fake ghosts? What do you got going on?
We have the real deal here. This house is plentiful, but I'm so lucky because they protect me. But first of all, hi Shane, how are you? It's good to see you.
Hi, Drea.
I like that you're wearing your fucking shades at night, bro.
Yes. Yeah. I need it. You should. This room is very bright, and we're gonna be in here for 3 hours. I need some protection from the radiation that Brandon put in here. But it's great to see you, Drea. We're so glad you're here, and you live in a pretty spooky area. Let's talk about it. What's up with that amazing house of yours?
What's more spooky is, am I on this thing for 3 hours today?
Yeah, sorry. I told you 20 minutes, but you're actually on for 3 hours.
Okay, 3 hours? Who the fuck? You know what? I could talk for 3 hours. That's for sure. Wow, man.
Yeah, it's a marathon.
Okay, yeah, okay. Because I have to go and hook up. I wish you could see what's going on here outside, because I wish I could carry my computer around and take you for a tour.
That'd be amazing.
Because it is mayhem. I mean, it looks so fucking crazy outside. I cursed a lot. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to bleep me out.
No, you're good.
But Shane came to my house many years ago when a friend of ours came to sign me as a publicist, and Shane was in tow with Vanessa.
Yep.
And I think you came here mostly because you wanted to know about this area or something, or maybe that came after I started telling you.
It was so random because on the flight to LA, I was reading weird scenes from inside the canyon, all about Laurel Canyon and how the CIA infiltrated it. I was reading about the Mountain Overlook Observatory, and I didn't know I was going to be meeting you when I was flying out there. That just randomly happened. And then I find out through Vanessa, hey, I might be meeting Drea. You want to hitch along? I was like, sure, that sounds fun. No idea where we were going. And then I'm like, I'm driving by Mountain Look Observatory, which is owned by, I think, Jared Leto right now.
Yeah, I never knew that's what it was called, actually. Yeah. What's it called?
Mountain Look Observatory.
Mountain Look Observatory.
Yeah.
Okay, it's on Lookout Mount. Oh, no, that house is on Wonderland.
It's a huge facility.
I probably shouldn't say where. I probably shouldn't say anything.
Let's dox Jared Leto right now. Drea de Matteo doxes Jared Leto.
I don't know that he. I actually don't even know if he lives in it full time, but it's just a nice thing to acquire. I think it's like 15 acres actually.
It's huge.
And you're gonna see a ghost walking around behind me. There's Robbie.
What's up, Robbie?
He's pretending he's jerking off his beer bottle in the background while he's putting up lights.
That sounds like Robbie.
Is this a PG? Is this a R-rated or PG?
We're on the Disney network right now.
Okay, good.
There goes your Disney contract. So,
okay,
but yeah, that was so random that I was there in Laurel Canyon. Now I'm inside this book I was reading, and you have you're around all this history, whether it's Hollywood history, CIA history, and ghost stories all over the place. So why don't you walk us through your house? You got a crazy history there, and you're surrounded by a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, I mean, once I start, it'll go on and on. But I didn't know that book when you hit me to that book when you came here. When I moved in, it was really because I used to live at the Sunset Marquis Hotel down the street, another fucking haunted spot, and the Chateau Marmont is also in the same area. We're right up from the Sunset Strip, so the music history here was nuts. So when I moved into this house, well, I didn't know that it belonged to this lady. Look, I'll show you real quick because the book isn't. I didn't even notice it. Oh, it's right next to my Helter Skelter book, which is pretty appropriate. But so the house belonged to her.
Okay.
So this was left on my mantelpiece when I moved in by the previous owner, with a cryptic message about the house and hoping that it would bring me all of the things that it brought their family. That guy supposedly was one of the writers of Footloose. So the house was always a music house. That guy put the pool in the backyard and had a little music note on the step, and it said that music bought the pool. But before that, before he moved in, it was, I don't know what year he moved in, but this house is the notorious Mamas and the Papas house. Not necessarily that they were all in this house. They were not. Denny Doherty of the Mamas and the Papas, he, now I didn't know any of this. So let me back up a tiny bit. I'm sitting out front on my stoop when I first moved here with Shooter, my ex, and every January 19th, which is my birthday, when I was younger, I always used to be a little melancholy and a little depressed on my birthday because it was a winter birthday. It just was one of those, I always had strep throat on my birthday. It was always, my birthday always fell on the opening of one of my mother's plays. I was always like, So I'm sitting outside and I'm like, oh my God, okay, so it's another fucking birthday. And there's like this little crowd of people leaning against their car talking about my house. And I'm like, this is weird. And they finally get the balls to walk over and walk up. And they were like, do you mind if we walk through your house? And I was like, that's a fucking weird question to ask a psycho bitch from New York City. Oh, sure. Just come on in. No big deal. I don't know who you people are. You could be some fucking leftover Manson. Who the hell knows what? I mean,
Right.
But of course, me, that I'm not really that crazy or psycho. Maybe I am that crazy and psycho. I say, well, if you explain to me why, I might consider it.
Give me a good story.
And they said, huh?
You say, just give me a good story. I might let you in. You get the golden ticket.
Oh my God. If it were my birthday, I probably would have been like, fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
Right.
But because I was sort of like, I was like bored and whatever. And they said, this is Denny Doherty's daughter. I'm like, sorry, who's Denny Doherty? They're like, this is Denny Doherty's daughter. We just want to show her the house.
Right.
Her dad died on this day. It is the anniversary of his death.
Whoa.
And I go, oh, so his initials are DD. He died on the day that I was born, not the actual day, but the same date.
Wow.
I mean, the month and the day. And I was like, well, I guess today's your lucky day. It means you guys were meant to walk through this fucking house. And apparently she had spent time in this house as a child and they just wanted to show her. They were all in town for his memorial.
Wow.
that they were doing.
Right.
Now, I didn't know much about Denny Doherty. I didn't know much about the Mamas and the Papas. I mean, I like them, but that wasn't my brand of music necessarily. Right. I was the brand of music that they introduced to the world when they put on the Monterey Pop Festival. Right. And they basically canceled themselves out when they put that festival on because, they introduced to the world the likes of Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Pete Townsend. I mean, those two were competing for who could destroy a guitar faster and more, who could do it better. And Jimi Hendrix set it on fire. Pete Townsend crashed his. And you got Joplin. I mean, the music scene changed in that moment completely. And then their brand started to go down because nobody cared about California Dreamin'. They were ready for the destruction, which Laurel Canyon really, and I know you know this because you read that book, and for any of the folks watching this that don't fully know, there's a lot around Laurel Canyon being a psyop. The conspiracy of that book is that, the conspiracy theory is that all of these musicians, and this isn't a conspiracy, this is fact, all of the musicians that were living in the canyon, all of their parents, their fathers, were tightly tied into the military, either clandestine stuff or just out in the open military. And the famous story is the Gulf of Tonkin story, where Jim Morrison's dad was on that boat, and he was the person, this is in Vietnam, he's the person that said, they invaded the boat. And they never invaded the boat, and they went into Vietnam.
Yep, that started it.
I just got chills because the house is saying, shh, be quiet, right?
These are our secrets. I mean, I think, I don't know if it was Denny or not, but someone in the Mamas and Papas, I forget the name, which one it was affiliated with the CIA to some degree. You know,
that I don't know.
yeah,
That's
I forget which one it was. It's in that book. And also Frank Zappa, who had that weird cabin down at the bottom of the canyon. He, his dad was like a biowarfare guy for the CIA. So yeah, like the Laurel Canyon, like the counterculture that started there, that seemed organic to me growing up. Now, after reading various books, including Weird Scenes Inside the Canyon, you realize that the CIA, our government, infiltrated that counterculture to turn it into something else, which is wild.
It sort of mirrors our world right now. I think, I started reading that book. There was so much information in it that it was blowing my mind. And I literally had to stop. I was reading it on the plane and I was like, I got to take a fucking break. This is an onslaught of information. And I can't believe all these films that have been made haven't even sort of touched on that. We should do that, Shane.
I know.
We should make that movie together.
I agree.
Okay?
I agree. That would be a great movie because I think it's like 30,000 films that the government made in Mountain Look Observatory in that giant basement. I mean, some of the conspiracies are they actually filmed the moon landing in that building.
Well,
it's huge.
By the way, have you heard, and listen, I was watching it the other day because I've seen it so many times where Kubrick confesses. I'm sure you've seen it 100 times.
I've seen that video, yeah.
But is it real? Is it a real confession? That's the question.
I don't think,
now I don't know what's real, what's not.
I know. I want to say yes. I don't know if that's real. It doesn't really look like him. It does sort of. His daughter seems pretty cool, and she says that that's fake. I've seen her do some interesting but like, who knows? I don't know. The whole story with Eyes Wide Shut and how he died in the end there and why he died and what the original script even looked like is interesting because they say people who read the original script say the Eyes Wide Shut was way more about like trafficking and, human sacrifice and that it
I'm
looked
sure
different
it was
in the end.
about the whole secret society.
Yeah. Like he was plugged in, I think, to the darker aspects of American culture, Hollywood. And I think that's why he left, and just became a recluse, which I totally understand. But yeah, like that whole area in Laurel Canyon really was like the spark of the counterculture that was then hijacked by the government. And even, I think Robert Mitchum, great actor he lived in Laurel Canyon. I
didn't even know he did.
Yeah, he lived up there, and the government, according to some reports that are declassified now, they basically planted that whole story of him being arrested with weed to make him appear to be a bad boy, to make this image of him. That's growing up. That's what all I heard. He was the first actor arrested for marijuana. But it turns out that might be just a story. That he was arrested, but it was all designed that way. It's crazy.
Not know that.
Are there like, so besides the CIA and all this stuff that happened there and how they infiltrated the counterculture, it also seems like there's spooky stuff there. Like, do you ever encounter anything like that up there?
Well, this is the thing. Like when I moved in here, I was a New Yorker. I'm petrified of living in a house, first of all. It's not my speed. I like being in a box in New York City with other people around me. Like that's my world. This to me is like major. Like I'm in a farmland. like I'm in the middle of nowhere up here, even though I'm right in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to know about Mary Astor. I didn't want to know anything about her story because she built this house.
Right.
So back in the whatever year it was, the early 1900s, this was a hunting area. This is where people would come to sort of just wealthy people, horse and carriage style stuff. I mean, if you look at the old photos of the whole area from Lookout Mountain to Kirkwood Mountain, there were no houses up here. The only houses that were up here are the houses that are the year of my house and a few other homes like ours. The Ginger Rogers house, the house that Karen Carpenter did her photo shoot off the turret of her balcony that's down the street. Wow. What's funny is they don't show these houses in all of there's all this footage about all of these homes. The Joni Mitchell home, they still don't even bring people up to see the Joni Mitchell house, which is not that far either. And that's where our house, the photos were shot and stuff. And again, her parents, David Crosby's parents, Stephen Still's parents, Zappa's, Jackson Brown, every fucking one of them tied to the military.
Crazy.
Absolutely incredible.
It's scary.
Crazy. But back to the mamas and the papas and them wanting to walk through the house. So I said, okay, let's walk through the house. I said, do you have any, the reason why I don't want to know about any of it is because I'm chicken shit and I don't want to be scared in my own house. I don't want to be scared that there's some fucking ghost or somebody's going to try and mess with me in my home. I needed a clean, clear field of energy around me. So I didn't want anything strange.
Right.
But in COVID, I dipped into who Mary Astor was. But going back to these kids that wanted to walk through the house, these people were a lot older than me because they were a bunch of old hippies. And the daughter of Denny Doherty, this girl, Jessica. So they're showing her through the house. And I said, can I have to walk with you? It's my house, but I want to hear everything and I have questions. And so they walk through the kitchen and I might not remember everything perfect, but if I remember correctly, this is nothing about being haunted, but the house supposedly had tents all over the place on the inside, and the backyard had no pool, so it was all mountains, and there were tents all up there because what had happened is Denny Doherty was in love with Michelle Phillips. He bought the house thinking she said she was leaving John Phillips. This is all lore. I don't know if any of it is true. Right. That she would live with him in this house. And she then ended up going back to John Phillips. And Mama Cass was always in love with Denny. She was always in this house, supposedly. She had a house also around here. But they all kind of had these houses. And he ended up just being here by himself. And then the Monterey Pop Festival happened. So he'd be going away on the road and their brand was destroyed. So being on the road wasn't fruitful anymore. Michelle Phillips is now back with John and they're on the road. So he's now going deeper and deeper into his despair. And in this house, when he'd be gone, there would be all these hippies walking down the mountain with his furniture, with his artwork. They just sort of infiltrated the place and were just sleeping everywhere. Wow. Apparently they would all play Let It Be off the side of the mountain at a certain time every day. What? That was one of the stories they told me. My living room back here, which Robbie turned into, I don't know if you could see, this is a weird camera thing that's happening.
Keeps following you.
This is new for me.
Your camera's following you.
It's so weird.
Have the surveillance state.
But he turned the living room into a full recording studio right now. I don't know if you could see it. You can't. It looks like a space station. So I had to incorporate it for the Halloween party and make it look like aliens are playing a rock show in there. But that living room, they would apparently, if anybody was tripping on acid super hard, they'd have to get in this hammock that was strung across the entire living room, and they'd hoist them up to the ceiling. It's really high ceilings in there. And there were vines painted all over the walls, and they would keep the fire going all day and night, even in the summer. Wow. And the walls turned black. But so I asked them, was this place ever haunted? And they said, well, the story goes that Denny bought the house from this nurse who was dying in the hospital. And she gave him all of her furniture. So when I moved in here with a lot of furniture that she had left that I ended up buying from the previous owners because they didn't want to take it. Right. And but most of the hippies that were living here were stealing all of the antiques that this nurse had accumulated. So the story with the nurse is that she was a lesbian. She and her girlfriend went to their parents in the 50s. We're gay. We love each other. They said, fuck you. Get out of here. You guys are excommunicated. But this one has a lot of money. So we're going to give her inheritance right now. And you guys, we don't want to see you anymore. So they traveled around the world and they had this beautiful life. And this was their beautiful home. And one of them died in the house. The other nurse the one who was dying in the hospital, took care of the other nurse who had died previously. And she took care of her in this house and she cared for her. So supposedly, no, not supposedly, I mean, there's a lot of people that have been in this house that feel that stuff. I don't feel it because I think that there is something about this house in relation to me, that this house has an insane protection over me. I know that sounds insane, but after what I've been through in the last 4 years, this house proved to be an entity more than just a house.
Wow.
It proved to be a source of like complete power and like not power, of love. Like it took care of me in the darkest time when the house was in foreclosure over all the whole vaccine mandate stuff, which you know what my story is on that. And I think most people that would know me know that I backed down and I lost everything because of it.
Insane.
Instead of faking it and being like, yeah, I did it. Here's my card. And I was like, no. And I just took a stand and it screwed me. And I thought this house was going to consume me because it was a noose around my neck trying to make the payments and all of that stuff. So, but going back to these nurses, there have been girls in this house that have been here alone, like house sitters and stuff,
right,
that will be washing dishes and they'll fucking call me and they'll say, yo, I just felt like there was somebody, they don't know the story. I just felt like there was a woman behind me that wanted to kiss.
Oh, lesbian!
Like,
you got a lesbian ghost.
Here.
You got a lesbian ghost, Drea.
I know. and then I had a guy that I was dating for a while who was very bizarre, and I don't know. He might have been crazy, but this part maybe wasn't crazy. But he had there's a back shop, which is where Robbie runs Ultra Free now. But down there was a cold, dark, kind of cavernous cave for years. And when my ex would go down there, he said that there were women dressed in white. So there's also a bed upstairs that I bought from France, and it was so cheap, but I had to have it, and it had all of this Latin gold inscriptions on it. It's very medieval looking.
Right.
And I bought the whole furniture set, and it has a huge crucifix that comes out of the foot of the bed.
Sick.
And people have seen it. Psychics have seen the bed because I was on, Susan Pinsky's show.
Oh yeah, I like Susan.
Talks to mediums. I love Susan. And actually Eddie, who's one of her psychics who was on the show, he's going to come to this house, and he said things to me about this house in this episode, and I don't want to do it because I'm like, I don't want to know. I don't need to be freaked out by any of this.
Yeah.
But he was giving me information about some stuff. I'll get to that in a second. But the nurses, sometimes they were seen in very elegant clothing.
Okay.
And then sometimes they were, so there's that. So these are two women that have had a hard time. Back up to Mary Astor. Her story's crazy. And I never wanted to know her story. But in COVID, I was like, my friends wanted to film something in quarantine. And I was like, I don't know what we're going to film. Like, what are we going to do here? And we're stuck in this house. And one of my friends from The Sopranos was stuck in the house with me. She couldn't get out of a flight. So she ended up here for months in the quarantine.
Wow. And
she's an AD and a producer. So we went for it. And we just started shooting a movie about a girl in an Airbnb who gets stuck in the Airbnb in the Corona pandemic, and she becomes completely possessed by the spirit of the actress who built the house.
Oh, cool.
And so I go in and out of being this 1930s film star to being myself, and I'm just like completely confused all the time.
Oh, that's rad.
I went into Mary Astor's life a little bit, and she had a fight to be emancipated by her parents. Like, they kept her like a fucking slave, basically, to work for them to become extremely wealthy. And she was the first silent film star to win an Oscar. I think that's her story. She was the Maltese Falcon. I can't remember her films. I've never seen her act. I don't even know.
Oh, really?
Much about Mary. No, I didn't want to know because I was just like, I can't. If I have this information, it's going to infiltrate my thoughts, and I don't want it. So I stayed away from it, and I still don't know, but I did go buy all her books, and I have them now. But her story, the bare bones of her story, was that she finally got away from her parents, and she marries this man. What is going on?
Is that a ghost, or is that a lesbian ghost?
Yes, that's my little nice doggy. She's also reincarnated. She is this dog. I don't mean to sound so fucking crazy, but she is the woman who I took care of until she died in the room right next to me, my nanny.
Oh, wow.
I took care of my nanny until she died. She was my nanny. And I basically carried her out once she passed. And like I wrapped her up and all of this stuff. And that dog is her. And I know it's her because the way she came to me was the most bizarre circumstances ever. So she's fucking haunting the house. And she always said, if I die, I'm going to come back and haunt the house. Don't worry. So she's here and she raised me. So that's my mom. The little dog is my mom. But Mary Astor, her parents built Moore Castle, which is the Charlie Chaplin house. I mean, it was, and that's another, I'm sure that house has all kinds. Andy Samberg lives there.
Really?
I think so. Yeah. Andy Samberg and I don't remember who his girl is. She's a musician.
Oh, she's really cool. Yeah. She's the harpist.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. She probably plays that harp in that.
Joanna Newsom, I think is her name.
Which one?
Joanna Newsom, is that her name?
Oh, okay. So then I was thinking, oh my God, I'm confused.
I could be wrong with the name, but I'm pretty sure he's married to the girl who plays the harp, and she's a beautiful like harpist. Like she carries around a giant harp.
Lewis.
I don't
Who's
think
that?
so.
Who's Jenny Lewis?
Jenny Lewis is like a comedian.
No, who's the musician?
She's a musician.
Nudie suits. I don't know who anybody is, man. I know
you're better off. You're better off.
But so yes, her story was crazy. So she was in court fighting to get away from her parents. She gets away from her parents. She meets this guy. Mm-hmm. She has a child with the guy. The guy turns out to be gay. He is sleeping with other men. She wants to get away from him. She wants to take her child. She starts writing in journals all the time, and he finds the journals and uses them against her in court to take the child. So she spends another God knows how many years in court. She builds this house to get away from everybody. And this is her home just to have affairs in.
Jeez.
That's it. For affairs and parties. There's like no real bathrooms in this house.
Wow.
And then moving into the bathrooms, there's a bathroom story too that I think you remember me telling you about.
Vaguely. Is this something you can
remember
share?
That? Oh, the girl, the daughter of Denny Doherty, ended up writing when my house was for sale in foreclosure that a nurse died. Oh no, that a man died in the guest bathroom. It was one of the nurses' husbands died. So I was like, that changes the whole story. So she killed her husband in the bathtub and then moved in her other nurse.
Classic.
Is that the story? I don't know what the story is because I never investigated. I need to get into some libraries that have some good micro.
Yeah,
feet,
you should. You should also. You could probably. I mean, I don't know if I should say this publicly, but you might as well. You could probably FOIA your house, like go to and get government documents, because I guarantee your house was probably part of some weird psyops. With the government. I guarantee some of those hippies taking stuff were probably CIA on government-made acid.
My dogs are going nuts right now.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean,
there's a bathroom story.
Yeah, say that. Say that.
Do you remember that I told you that when I was looking to buy the house, Angela Bowie was looking at the house?
Yeah, that rings a bell. Remind me.
Yeah, the girl selling the house, the daughter of the guy that sold me the house, she goes, that was just Angela Bowie. And I was like, I don't even know what Angela Bowie looks like or whatever. I'm pretty sure they have a kid together. I think the song Kooks was about their kid together, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
But she was looking at this house. Like, I was like, why would she want to buy this house? Like, that's weird. Like, they have been together for years. Like, isn't he with Iman? Because I met him years ago at like Julian Schnabel's. God, I'm name dropping right now. Like really name dropping. That's the most haunting thing I've ever done. I've never done that, but I'm doing it. But I didn't. Listen, I have to brag that I met David Bowie because he's David Bowie.
It's David
and
Bowie.
I also think Julian Schnabel's one of the coolest cats I've ever met too. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to brag about those two.
Yeah, you've earned it.
But so those were back in my New York days, and I was a kid. But so this house. I'm a huge Bowie fan. Now, going back to when my kids were little, I was giving them their first shower ever. They'd only taken baths before. This was their first big kid shower. Mm-hmm. We're in there, hair all wet and everything. And all of a sudden, all the lights go out. And I'm like, holy shit, I got to deal with this. What the hell's going on? And I jump out to grab my cell phone just for some light. And as I step back in, my cell phone starts ringing and we start to feel something crashing down all over us in the back. And I'm like, are we having an earthquake? And I'd already answered the phone. And I'm like, are we in a fucking earthquake? And it's my girlfriend, Ayala, and she goes, what's going on? And I'm like, well, dude, I'm in the shower. The lights just went out and all of the tiles appeared to have fallen off the walls on me and the kids.
Whoa.
That literally all the tiles started falling on us. They're like these little tiles. So it wasn't painful, but it was shocking.
Right.
And she goes, well, dude, that makes sense. And I go, why? She's like, because David Bowie just died. She's like, isn't the rumor that all of that weird, those rumors, there's rumors.
Right.
I don't know if any of this is true.
Mm-hmm.
The Mick Jagger rumors back in the day, or maybe the Iggy Pop rumors, I don't know, where they were all, look, I mean, I grew up in New York in that fucking whole scene, and there were definitely nights where maybe I kissed two people. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like this.
You heard it here first, people.
Happen when you're a kid in New York City, and that scene was so. I mean, the Laurel Canyon scene. There was it was hedonistic here. I'm sure in the '60s. I don't know if you ever read some of those plays about this time. Like, who was the guy who wrote the plays? Is it Hurley? Was it Shanley? I can't remember who it was that was writing plays about this time, but there was a lot of activity happening, all these girls and, a lot of stuff. But okay, so maybe in the 60s, something went down in my bathroom. And I think these guys that walked through the house also told me that story about it. So that's maybe where I heard the story, the Doherty people.
The other thing that's weird about it is Bowie died, around your birthday, right? Wasn't it
I don't know.
Early January? I mean, you said January 19th is your birthday. Okay, let me look up really quick. Just I always think it's weird when all these things kind of line up. He was born on January 8th and he died January 10th. Yeah. I remember the day he died. It was a terrible day. I just walked out of the theater seeing The Revenant, and all alone in an empty theater. No one wanted to watch it in upstate New York. I loved that movie. And then I walked out and found out he died. It was a real bummer. Crazy.
Wow. Okay. So yes, it was, she goes, yeah, maybe he's touring all of his old spots. And now this was the weird thing. I was like, yeah, that's crazy. Whatever. You're fucking batshit crazy. So then a couple of years later, Bama and I, my daughter, were at the museum, at the BAM Museum. Bama and I are at the BAM Museum seeing the Bowie exhibit. And my daughter loves Bowie. And she's little, though, and she always loved him, even when she was little, because we would sing Put Your Ray Gun to My Head, Press Your Space Face Close to Mine, Love, Freak Out, and Moon Age Daydream.
Yep.
That's our song. That's me and the kids' song. We would dance it out in the bathtub. Strangely enough, that was the bath song.
Right.
This is Moon Age Daydream, and that was the bathroom. And the bathroom is this very strange room in the house, and it's very big, and it's circular, and supposedly there was a bed in that room. So I don't know if it was always a bathroom. So I don't know. It's like in the turret of the house. But so if anything creepy or whatever went on and that somebody might regret, maybe.
Right.
But so anyway, we're at this museum and all these TV screens are playing different pieces of Bowie's life. And he's talking about his time in LA. And we stopped in our tracks and he said it was the darkest time in his life. And that he couldn't wait to leave. And that's when he went to Berlin, which you would think might be the darker time. I mean, being in Berlin is I have an obsession. I've never been to Berlin, but I have an obsession with German art, German films, all of it. I just think it's all so.
And their music.
It's just got a lot of stuff. I loved the movie Christian F. when I was a kid. It was my obsession, and Bowie performs in it. And it was this German film by Uli Edel, I think is his name. Okay. The guy who did Last Exit to Brooklyn. Cool. The movie's not a great movie, but it's a vibe and a half, and Bowie's in it. So he said that when he went to Berlin, I guess that's his Thin White Duke era. And that's when he started to feel like he could be an artist again, like he was creating again. And that was Changes and Heroes and all of that stuff. I think I'm not a music aficionado at all, but this is what I'm assuming. But his time in LA was just dark, dead, uninspiring, and destructive.
Yeah.
Drugs, you know.
I'm not surprised. I mean, whether it was you can't blame the government for everything out there, but they did start a lot of it. I mean, I like to blame them for most things, but they did inject a lot of their acid into that area and create a lot of degeneracy and turn it into like a circle of hell, while also like then platforming it into like, you know, like almost astroturfing it and saying this is the counterculture, this is the acceptable counterculture for them. I think a lot of those people also, not like the ones we know of, but people who were in that environment grew up to become like neocons, you know, establishment types who were like, I was a hippie and now I'm a neocon, you know, and I'm pro-war, even though you were anti-war in the 60s. You see it time and time again, all the time. Even like John Brennan, you know, he's a psychopath. And but
there's the neocons, and then there's the Horowitz. Like I started the book again. I start these books and I don't finish them. Obstructive Generation, I think it was called.
Okay, I didn't read that.
Where he kind of goes through how it was, you know, it's somewhat, it could have been looked at on some level, what happened in the last 4 years, like at the brink of like a cultural revolution that would be ushered in to destroy the youth and to keep them asleep, to keep them dead. They were still fighting. They were still anti-war, and their message was right. And I hate to say this even now, because everybody's so divided right now. But even the kids that are anti-war now, because they've been so demonized by the right for being like wokies and, you know, all of that sort of stuff, they are still the ones that are protesting war at this point.
Yeah.
But as far as the whole confusion, the psychotic confusion and division and the propaganda machine and the drugs and now then it was drugs. Now they're using, you know, technology and social media.
Yes, our phones.
Yes, this is the new LSD, man.
Yeah, 100%.
And man, you can't even get a trip out of this. You can't even see God with this.
Or we're constantly tripping on them. You know, maybe we don't even realize anymore. We're just constantly tripping in our realities.
You know,
but not like in a fun way from back in the day.
Yeah, but you know, what was the motto back then? Was it something? Check out. Drop in, drop out. I can't remember.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, that is what it was though. Like they wanted it to sound like they were peaceful, and they thought they were, but I think they were breeding something for a few decades down the road to turn into the establishment, and because I think evil has they plan things out far in advance, and I think they could tell, you know, whatever they is like some evil, ancient evil that's been here for quite some time, being like, we'll make them seem counterculture now. They will be the elite in 30 years, and they will just help destroy. They will help usher in new wars. The counterculture, the anti-war movement in particular, the anti-war movement, they started out as like clean-cut guys. You know, like they weren't hippies. So as far as I can tell, the government was like, well, that isn't going to fly for us because people might take that seriously. If these guys with like crew cuts, you know, and white shirts who might be going to church are saying we're anti-war, like a lot of the Amish, you know, they're also anti-war. They don't have mustaches because they even think the mustache is a pro-war symbol. So, you know, these anti-war guys who were clean cut, it was all infiltrated. And then we got Manson. It all culminated to Manson, right? And then 30 years down the road, they all go bald and wear suits, and now they're in DC destroying both of us and everyone else listening, and it sucks. I know we've gone over what I said you were going to be here for, and I really appreciate it. I wanted to say that story you said about your ex in the cave that's like below the house when he saw the old women or the women in like the old outfits. There's a bunch of stories from Laurel Canyon of people seeing ghost horse and carriage. You ever hear those stories?
No.
Yeah, you should look it up. People say it all the time. They also say they see stuff at like the old Houdini house. I don't know if it's still there. It might have fallen down.
I've never been. Do you know that I've never been there? I've been up here for 25 years. I mean, I stay in New York most of the time, but I've never been to the Houdini house.
Oh man, I would like to check that out. Houdini. Oh, you know, and then just to tie it up real quick, Houdini mentored John Mulholland, who went on. He was another magician, illusionist, who went on to work. He was like a contractor for the CIA around the same time we're talking about. And so they even made a CIA handbook about illusions and how we can perform like basically psyops on people. So John Mulholland had a big part to play in like the MK Ultra, which we're in now. Yeah.
Was Mulholland named after him?
Right. Who knows? I always think of that. I always think of Mulholland Drive and all that good stuff, David Lynch. So,
there's another house though. There's another house, just so you know. It is not just the Houdini house. It's the Rick Rubin house.
Shangri-La?
Artists. I don't know. That's the Malibu one?
Oh, yeah. I guess that's Malibu. Yeah.
He has houses everywhere, but there's one on Laurel Canyon, like on the actual Laurel Canyon, not on the side streets.
Mm-hmm.
And you used to be able to see it from the street. You can't anymore. I think too many people. And I think they might have even shot Californication in there.
Interesting.
But that house, those episodes were based on this house. But you can hear all of like Anthony Kiedis, or there's tons of musicians that were recording in there that said they had to leave.
Oh yeah,
they couldn't stay there and finish recording because it was on another level of sinister.
Yeah,
really sinister hauntings.
That's something we talk about a lot on the show. Is like, are we projecting some of this history that we know onto these places, and then we're kind of like psyching ourselves out? Or I think it's a little bit of both. And the other thing could be, do these places hold these energies? I think it's a bit of both. Like we talk about battlefields in this country, and they like absorb the death. And then you go there, you feel that. Your house is a character. It's gone through all these different phases of insane trauma and drug use and all that wild stuff. And you can some people can feel it, some people don't. People call into the show all the time, and they have very similar experiences. Other people don't have those experiences. I think there's something to it.
Bed.
Yeah.
The bed upstairs, everyone that sleeps in it, it depends on who they are, but most people who sleep in it will be held down at night. Held down.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They'll
crazy. Have dreams that they're being held down, and it's across the board. And one person who will experience it will have no idea about the other person who experienced it. So it's not like I'm anticipating this.
Do you have like the provenance of the bed, like where it came from? And
it's definitely from France. It's got the person's initials in it, and it's got all this sort of Latin writing on it. And this one psychic did see a video of it from a friend. And I don't mess with psychics too much, but they said that there was some sort of either a possession that took place in that bed, or an exorcism, whatever, or that there was a major transformation that happened in the bed. The bed is also short. It's not long. I had a custom mattress made for it because it was made for a small woman, possibly a nun is what I'm thinking, because it's a holy bed.
Right.
I'm not telling you it's the most ornate cross. It's about this big. It's like 2 feet tall, the crucifix that comes out of the foot of the bed. It's wild.
Wait, you're going to have Eddie come by the house?
Yes, Eddie's coming.
Okay, so
Halloween party, and so I want Sam to come.
Oh, I'll tell him in 10 minutes.
Okay, yes,
he'll be here.
Sam's
the best. So I know I gotta let you go, but Eddie, I've done a show with Eddie, and I don't mess with psychics too much either. However, Eddie, and I can't say specifics because it comes down to like real security issues in my life. Eddie told me something live on air that happened about security stuff, and it came true.
Same.
It came true. Like 2 days later, it was crazy. It was the craziest thing. I forgot all about that until you just brought him up.
Well, I was ready not to believe anything with anything they were saying. He said there was a small dog that lives in this house, and these dogs sometimes bark at things in corners. He also said that there's I think he said a Native American who stands in the back of my property and protects it all the time.
Okay.
He also said that to be careful on the stairs, that there's a problem with the stairs. And I said, you're crazy. Like, this is no problem with any of the stairs in my house. And then a week later, Robbie fell down 20 feet.
What?
On the back side of the house. Whoa. Where there's really no more stairs. They're old stairs from the 1920s.
Whoa.
Railroad tied stairs that don't exist anymore. We don't keep them. But Robbie sometimes will use them just to get down to the studio, but they're very dangerous. And he did it. And he fucking went.
That's crazy. That's
yeah.
crazy.
And he said it.
Yep, Eddie, he's a fascinating character. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what he says about your house. Your house is a character. You're a character. Robbie's a character. Love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us, Drea. This is such a pleasure. And anything else? I meant to tell you, I didn't tell you this, but I'll tell you now. The other day, I wore one of the ultra-free shirts on this show, Defund Satanism. People kept joking that it said defend Satanism. I was like, no, you jerks. It's defund.
Yeah. Oh wait,
defund.
did Robbie send you a box of all the new shirts?
No, not yet. He was talking.
We've been
we were
so
talking.
crazy here.
Yeah, no.
You need all the new Anunnaki and all the chemtrail shirts.
Yeah, they look awesome.
We're all about, you
I know.
can talk for hours on the poison in the sky, bro.
I know. Drea is as anti-Big Cloud as it gets. I'm stoked. We'll have you back. We're going to get into all this other stuff. We have so many things we'll talk about. But Drea, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a great Halloween. Have a great party. Say hi to Robbie for me, and we'll talk soon.
Say hi to your family too.
I will. Thank you. All right.
Okay. Bye, guys. Happy Halloween.
Thank you. You too.
Ultra free.
That's right. Ultra free. Everyone check out Ultra Free.
That's right.
We'll see ya. Bye.